Picture a Tuesday morning. Nothing special about it. You make your coffee, sit down, open your phone, and there it is. A number on a screen you have been quietly working toward for years. $750,000. No party, no champagne, just a plain number on a plain screen on a plain Tuesday. And here is the first thing most people feel in that moment. The relief. Finally, I made it. I am safe. That feeling is real. And it is also the most financially dangerous moment of your life, because the very belief that just settled into your chest, I am safe now, is the belief that quietly ends more wealth-building journeys than any market crash ever has. Here is what nobody told you about this exact number. $750,000 is not a finish line. It is a threshold, and crossing it changes the rules of the game entirely, in ways almost no one warns you about before you get here. Before this number, your income was your most powerful tool. Every raise, every side hustle, every dollar saved moved the needle. You built it with effort. But at $750,000, something quietly flips. The market now moves more of your money in a single day than most people save in an entire month. A normal 10% correction, the kind that happens roughly every other year, doesn't cost you $10,000 anymore. It costs you $75,000 in weeks. For most American households, $75,000 is more than a full year of take-home pay. You can no longer save your way out of a mistake. That is the shift. That is what this number means. Your income built the first $750, but your behavior, your decisions, your habits, your emotions will decide everything that comes next. This video is about what that behavior needs to look like, and more importantly, about the one mental shift almost nobody makes at this exact moment. The shift that separates the people who go from $750 to $1 million from the people who quietly spend the next decade wondering where it went. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Always consult a qualified professional for your specific situation. For years, your job was to build, earn more, save more, push the number higher. That was the game, and you played it well. The habits that got you here, discipline, hustle, sacrifice, those are real. They are yours. And they worked. But here is the reframe most people never get. The habits that build wealth are not the same habits that keep it. Getting here rewards effort. Staying here rewards restraint, and almost nobody teaches the second part. Think of it this way. For the last decade, you were a construction crew. Every dollar you earned was a brick. You stacked them one by one until the building reached this height. But a construction crew is not the same thing as a security guard. At $750,000, your job title quietly changed. You are no longer the builder. You are the guardian. And the guardian's first rule is simple. Do not lose what the builder spent years creating. That sounds obvious. It is not obvious in practice, because everything about reaching this number feels like permission. Permission to loosen up, permission to upgrade, permission to finally enjoy it. And in small doses, that is fine. You earn some enjoyment. But the dangerous version of that feeling sounds like this. I have enough cushion now. I can afford to take a little more risk. I can afford to spend a little more. I can afford to not watch it as closely. That is the identity trap. The brain that got you to $750 is whispering that the same moves will take you to $1 million. They will not. The game changed the moment you crossed this line. The builder and the guardian look at the same $750,000 and see completely different things. The builder sees how far he has come. The guardian sees how much he has to lose. You need to become the guardian, and the first place that shows up is in the most seductive mistake at this level. There are 3 ways people arrive at $750 and quietly drift backward. They do not feel like mistakes in the moment. That is what makes them dangerous. The first is lifestyle creep. The moment the number crossed $750, a quiet whisper arrived with it. You have arrived. And that whisper does not ask you to buy a yacht. It asks for something far more reasonable. A slightly nicer apartment. A newer car. A few subscriptions that never get canceled. A vacation that costs a little more than last year's. Each upgrade feels earned. Each one is, individually, affordable. But raise your monthly spending by just $2,000. $2,000, and you are redirecting $24,000 a year away from compounding. $24,000 a year, invested historically at 7%, becomes well over $300,000 in a decade. The nicer lifestyle does not cost you $2,000 a month. It costs you a future $300,000. You just cannot feel that cost yet, and that invisibility is what makes it so expensive. Freeze the lifestyle first. Not forever. For now, let compounding do the next stretch of the climb. That single decision, income rises, spending stays flat, is the most reliable pattern in quiet wealth building. It is not glamorous. It does not make a good social media post, but it works every single time. The second is chasing yield. Once the number is large, ordinary returns feel boring. 7% on $750,000 is over $50,000 a year. But it does not feel exciting on a screen. It does not feel like enough. And so the calls start coming. The emails. The friend with a can't-miss opportunity. Someone promises you 18%. Guaranteed. Almost no risk. Here is the rule that does not break. Guaranteed and 18% cannot exist in the same sentence. Every extra point of promised return hides an extra point of risk you simply cannot see yet. At this level, avoiding one catastrophic loss matters more than chasing one exciting gain. The boring index fund you already own has quietly outperformed almost every exciting alternative. After fees, after taxes, after the recovery time from the losses the exciting alternatives carry. When the pitch sounds too good to be true, that is not opportunity knocking. That is risk wearing a suit. The third is the one nobody talks about, invisible fees. Imagine you have $750,000, and buried somewhere in your account statements is a 1.2% advisory fee you barely remember agreeing to. That is $9,000 a year, every year. Whether the market goes up or down, whether your advisor beats the index or trails it, over 20 years, that single overlooked percentage quietly costs you somewhere in the range of $300,000. Not because anything dramatic happened, because a small number compounded in the wrong direction, invisibly for a long time. Fees are the termites of wealth, slow, invisible, and devastating over time. The fix takes one afternoon. Pull every statement, write down every fee in plain dollars, not percentages dollars, add them up, then ask one simple question: is what I am getting worth what I am paying? A fair fee for genuine, active planning can absolutely be worth it. But you must know the number. Ask any advisor directly, what is my total all-in cost, in dollars per year? If they cannot answer that in plain language, that silence is your answer. So what does the Guardian actually do differently? First, automate everything. The investors who win at this level are not the most brilliant. They are the most consistent. And consistency does not come from willpower. It comes from systems. Set your contributions to fire automatically on payday before you can see the money or feel tempted. Set your rebalancing to happen once a year without a decision. Make the boring, correct move the default, and make changing it slightly inconvenient. Remove the trading app from your phone's home screen. Add friction to every impulsive decision. The goal is a system that keeps working on your worst, most distracted, most emotional days, because those days will come, and they are exactly when the expensive mistakes happen. Second, understand sequence risk. This one is subtle, and most people at this level have never heard of it. Two people can earn the same average return over 20 years and end up in completely different places, depending on the order in which the good and bad years arrive. If a market downturn hits early in your retirement, while you are withdrawing money, you lock in losses that the eventual recovery cannot fully undo. The math is unforgiving. The sequence matters as much as the average. If you are within 5 to 10 years of retirement, this number changes what your portfolio should look like. A cash cushion, 1 to 2 years of expenses set aside, is not a weakness. It is armor. It means you never have to sell investments at the worst possible moment just to cover your bills. Third, where your money lives matters as much as how it grows. $1 in a Roth IRA and $1 in a traditional 401k are not the same dollar. One is already taxed, one is not yet taxed. The location of your assets, which types of investments sit in which types of accounts, can quietly add or cost you years of retirement spending. This is not something to figure out from a YouTube video. This is a one conversation, one afternoon meeting with a fee-only financial planner or tax professional, not a commissioned salesperson. A fee-only professional who charges for their time and has no incentive to sell you a product. At $750,000, one well-spent afternoon on this question pays for itself many times over. Fourth, protect the downside. John has no will, no updated beneficiaries, no umbrella insurance policy. If something happens to him tomorrow, his $750,000 could sit frozen in legal limbo for a year while his family waits. A basic will and updated beneficiary forms on every account, including the old 401k from the job he left in 2019, can move that money to the right people in weeks, not years. An umbrella insurance policy, typically $1 million of liability coverage, costs somewhere around $200 a year. $200 to protect $750,000 from a single lawsuit. Most people insure a $30,000 car and leave a $700,000 net worth completely exposed. One afternoon, one will, one policy, defend a number that took you years to build. Here is the part of this conversation that matters more than any tactic. On a $750,000 portfolio, a normal 2% market day moves $15,000 up or down before lunch. Watching $15,000 disappear on a Tuesday morning is a fast path to making a decision you will regret for a decade. The investors who win at this level are almost boringly calm. They check their accounts rarely. They react less. They have trained themselves to treat the urge to do something during a downturn as a signal to wait, not a signal to act. Your brain evolved to respond to threats. Markets punish that ancient reflex. Name the emotion when it shows up. Fear, greed, envy of the friend with the hotter stock. Then do nothing. Deliberate, purposeful nothing. The most underrated skill in all of investing. There is also a comparison trap at this level. Once you have 750, you start noticing everyone who has more. There is always someone with a bigger portfolio, a flashier return, a story that sounds better than yours. Your $750,000 does not care about your neighbor's boat. The only race that matters is your money against your own future needs, nothing else. Here is the thing about $750,000 that nobody tells you until you are standing inside it. Early on, action builds wealth. You hustle, you save, you push. But at this number, the game inverts. Restraint protects it. Patience grows it, and doing nothing, on purpose, deliberately, calmly, becomes the highest paid work you can do. The builder in you wants to keep building, keep moving, keep optimizing. The guardian knows that the tree is already planted. Digging it up to check the roots only kills it. Your portfolio does not need your excitement anymore. It needs your patience. It needs your absence from the decisions that feel urgent but are not. The people who quietly go from 750 to $1 million are not the ones who found the cleverest move. They are the ones who stopped making unnecessary ones. You already did the hard part. You reached the number. Now your job, your one job, is to not talk yourself out of it. Guard it. Automate it. Protect the downside. Then step back and let the number you already earned quietly finish the work you started. Because the less you touch it now, the more it quietly becomes. And one day, years from now, you will open your phone on a plain Tuesday morning, and the number on that screen will remind you that the best financial decision you ever made was the one you chose not to make.